You know it's on because the light's green. And only.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. At 6:01, we will call this meeting to order. Let me get to the right page on my script. Very pleased to welcome our new student board member, Paredes Yasso. Did I say that close to correct? You'll teach me. I will keep working. I'm sorry. Please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay. Introduction of board members and staff. Hello, everyone. I'm John Horner, the board president. Then we'll go to my right.
Good evening, Veronica Andrade, trustee, board vice president.
Good evening, Sarah Northrop Gaddis, board clerk.
Good evening, Jennifer Marquez, board trustee.
Good evening, Rebecca Munson, trustee.
Good afternoon and welcome, Nancy Altman, trustee.
Good afternoon, Ronnie Paredes Hassel, student board member.
Good afternoon, Claudia Estrada, executive assistant to the superintendent.
Good evening, Carmen Garcia, superintendent. I would like to address our Spanish-speaking community. Miembros de la comunidad, tenemos traducción simultánea. Por favor, hagan clic en el icono del mundo debajo de la pantalla. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros.
Good evening, buenas noches, Diana Jimenez, assistant superintendent of educational services.
Good evening, Cobra Chang, assistant superintendent of business.
Hello, everyone. I'm Diana Taveras, assistant superintendent of human resources.
Thank you, everyone. And again, welcome to those in the room and joining us on Zoom. Now we'll move to item D, adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Thank you, trustee Munson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, vice president. All in favor? Oh, sorry, student board member. You get to go first on every vote. Got to get back in this habit. So, say aye. Thank you. Other trustees, if you agree, say aye. 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 Any opposed or abstaining? Okay, that passes unanimously. Moving to item E, closed session action report. We have nothing to report out of closed session this evening. Item F, presentations. We will start with our student board member and alternate student board member introduction, beginning with our new student board member, Romney Paredes Yasso. I'm sorry. And alternate board member, Rebecca Lawton. Rebecca, are you here? There. You say Lawton or Latin? Or? Latin, okay. I'm working on that. So starting with you, please take a moment and introduce yourself. Tell us a little about yourself. Why are you doing this?
Good afternoon, everyone. As I mentioned, my name is Ronnie Paredes Hassel. I grew up in San Jose, and at the age of 4, I moved and entered into the MHUSD school district. Ever since I have entered this school district, I have been, I believe, how do I say it? I believe I have been, well, getting better at everything in general. And, well, I have, by myself, I have 2 brothers, 1 sister, a dad, and I love my family. I don't really know.
Wonderful, thank you. We really appreciate having you here. Ms. Latin, if you would come up to the podium here and tell us a little about yourself. Like Assistant Superintendent Tavares will make sure that mic is on. It's sometimes tricky. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
I think it's on. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, my name is Rebecca Latin. I'm 17 years old and I'm a senior at Ansobrado High School. I was born in Los Gatos, California, and I've been here my entire life. Never moved, been in the same house ever since I was born. I've been very involved in Morgan Hill since the very beginning. My mom, because of my nut allergy, worked at Nordstrom Elementary throughout my entire time being there as the school nurse and the yard duty. I've grown up being very close to the community, and I pride myself as a leader. This year, I am a captain on my varsity tennis team, as well as a section leader in my marching band, and I just love to be involved. My mom says one of my biggest fatal flaws is that I care too much, but I think that is my biggest strength because I care so much about others and the well-being of others. And I believe that it's important that everyone gets the recognition that they deserve. Thank you.
Beautifully said. Thank you for everything you've done and for everything you will do. We really enjoy having you here. Okay, now we'll move to item 2 under recognitions and presentations. Martin Murphy Middle School Board Presentation.
Good evening, Board President Horner, Superintendent Garcia, Board of Trustees, and everyone in attendance. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Rick Ito, and we are here to present information about Martin Murphy Middle School. We will be reflecting our successes from last year, the 24-25 school year, and we will be talking about this upcoming year. Presenting with me tonight will be Assistant Principal Virginia Barrera, 6th and 7th grade social studies teacher Ross Rutner, and our involved and supportive parent, Christina Lawson. All right. I was told we have about an hour, right? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
That's 1/6 of an hour. We're doing fractions. 1/6 of an hour is about 10 minutes.
We'll keep it moving. We'll keep it moving. All right, so just a little bit about the school this year. This is our enrollment information. It was taken earlier this week, and our numbers have gone up a little bit, so we're about 454, 455, right around there this year. That's the breakdown of our students. Next slide. This is our student groups that we have on campus. As you can see, we have a large Hispanic population. Then it just kind of works its way down for our SED students and then our EL students. So, and you can see the pie chart there. Next slide. This is our staff. There we go. So the picture is us being all hippies during Halloween. We have 20 teachers, as you can see up there. We have only 3 multiple subject credentials. We have 14 single subject, and then we have 12 master's degrees of our staff on campus. We did add 2 new teachers this year. We had Rachel Bliss, who is actually a veteran teacher who's worked in the district. She taught at Murphy previously and was a mentor to several of our teachers. So when she wanted to come back to Murphy, they were all excited because they knew her and she's been a great addition. And we also added a special ed teacher, Michael Carter, who is also a veteran teacher. So it's nice to have a seasoned veteran staff to work with this year. Our first SIPSA goal is to increase, obviously, our iReady reading and math scores by 5%. So we want to make sure that we continually make growth academically. If we go to the next slide, we have our scores. So these are our iReady scores. They're from the fall to the spring iReady diagnostics. So as you could see, the far left, on the bottom, the far left, those are numbers that you want to go up. So 16 to 25, 15, we stay the same on that. And then the columns on the right of that, you want those numbers to go down, right? So we did go down in all of our numbers. So that's for reading. Our next slide is math. There we go. So here's our math, same thing. The left columns, you want them to go up. So 9 to 20, 13 to 19, and then the right ones went down. So we did make growth in our iReady data, which is really good. We're not going to settle for that, obviously. We're going to continue to make improvement and push. And we figure with a seasoned veteran staff like that, we could really push on them. And we're really excited about this year because they've worked together for a while and they know each other. So They do a nice job collaborating. So we're hoping that these are even better at the end of this year. So some of the school actions and to achieve our goal, obviously we have our universal design for learning and our constructing meeting that we're working closely with the district along with student engagement strategies. And then as a school, we're focusing on writing from informational text. So that's kind of a school goal that we want to work on. And then we're really going to focus on our EL students. So we've set up some tutoring, especially for our ELD 1 and 2 students, so that we have a staff member that is willing to work with them in small groups so that they could get the individual assistance that they need. And then in order to celebrate, we like to celebrate over at Murphy. We have our iReady Awards. So all of our math classes and our English language arts classes gave out awards to their students at different levels depending on how much growth they made. And then we do GPA awards each semester. And those are a ton of fun. If you get a chance, we'll invite you to them. We do them by grade level. We do a big wheel spin. Kids win prizes. They get to decide what period they get to pick the prize. If they win a pizza party or something, that's kind of like The Price is Right, because they just all start screaming and yelling, period 2, and they're all excited. And then at the end of the year, the bottom right picture, we do an 8th grade award. So the week of our promotion ceremony on that Monday night, we have an award ceremony just for our 8th graders. And we give out GPA awards, we give out teacher awards, we give out department awards, we give out sports awards, we give out student of the year awards. And as you can see, it's well attended. A lot of the 8th graders show up, a lot of parents show up, and it's just a great celebration at the end of the year. So we like having that separate one at night for the 8th graders, and they really enjoy it. Oh, next goal will be talked about, Ms. Barrera.
So our second SIPSA goal is a climate culture goal. So it's kind of like the life at Murphy. We focus mainly on our chronic absenteeism, our attendance rates, and our suspension rates. So those were a big focus with us last year. Next slide, please. So here's a couple of graphs. The attendance graph, you can kind of see that we're kind of hanging out at that 93% rate. So with this week or this month being our attendance month, we're really focusing in on the student services attendance challenges. So our attendance clerk is really kind of putting together a lot of those contests for our students, focuses for our students. The picture there is one of our teachers greeting the students at the door, which is one of the challenges. So making sure that our students really feel welcomed and supported while they're at school is going to be a huge focus this month and then all year long, so that we can raise that 93%. The other graph is our suspensions. The red is from this last year, and then the blue is from the previous year for 23-24. So you can see the drastic drop in suspensions. We are very proud of that. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So this is how we're kind of achieving those goals. One of the things that didn't make the slide is last year we went to differentiated assistance with Deanna Jimenez and a group from the district office. We were at the county office really focusing in on suspension rates and different strategies that we can implement to help those numbers go down. And we definitely saw that last year. So we definitely appreciate the support of the district office last year. We're also working very closely with Dory in the LATI program. LATI is Living Above the Influence. She comes in and she does a lot of preventative work. So if we're noticing kind of temperature starting to rise, she comes in and does a lot of restorative conversations, a lot of kind of boundary building. So she's amazing. Our climate culture team, we have a new care counselor, Melinda. She's fitting in wonderfully. The students are loving her. They call her the question lady. She comes out at lunch and she asks the students like questions. Then she has a board where she kind of keeps track of all the results. It's really fun. This year, we're also switching to Minga. Mr. Rettner is going to talk about Minga a little bit later. Lots of parent involvement. Our wellness center is wonderful. We have a garden that's attached to our wellness center, and a lot of our students like to have lunch there. So really kind of working on the climate culture supportiveness of our campus so that our students want to come to school and then are safe at school. Next slide, please. I believe this is Mr. Rettner.
Correct. Good job. My name is Mr. Rettner. So this is my 8th year at Murphy. Mr. Schwartz is someone that I've worked with really closely. I actually interviewed with him way back in the Stone Age, pre-COVID. And, when we talk about professional learning, it's actually really cool because there are certain things, especially when it comes to learning, like Mr. Schwartz has been doing this for, I want to say 12 million years, but he's been doing it for a while. And I've learned so much from him, but there are just certain things that like he can pull off certain lessons that I can't pull off and vice versa. And so sometimes it's really fun to just be like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. You know me well enough by this point. Like, do you think I can make it work? And sometimes he'll be like, no, that's terrible. And other times he'll be like, no, this is a great idea. Like, you can do it. Let me know how that works. It's not going to work for me. Miss Bliss is one of those ladies that she, is new to us, and she actually was my new teacher mentor 8 years ago. So when she said that she was like interested in joining, I was like, oh yeah, no, don't think about it. Just click accept. Like we want her. And she has already been so well. The kids are already like, oh yeah, Miss Bliss is doing this. And I was like, okay, well, get back to class. Like, whatever your deal is. Like, but she is just so great, and she knows the kids so well. And so, with our guiding coalition, it's been a cool process, and we're gonna see how it goes. Next slide, please. So student engagement, attendance, PBIS. If you know anything about complaining about anything or talking about anything, that usually means you become in charge of it. So I have talked a lot about like Minga stuff. Now my wife does teach at the high school, and she uses Minga, and like we had our PBIS reward points system, and it was great, but also like hearing what Minga could do, I was like, oh my gosh, this would be great for us. Like the fact we can track how long kids are in the bathroom, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So like there's so much everything that we can do. So it's really cool. We do have our PBIS reward points. So we're changing our system up a little bit. All the teachers have some kind of reward system. I do a bunch of 3D printing, or I have snakes in the classroom. So we makes sense. But we kind of figure out what we want to do with it, and we can kind of make fun lunch activities. We do our Red Ribbon Week activities. We've got the TUPE, we've got support groups, we've got all that stuff. So it's kind of fun to see like all of it really come together, and switching from PBIS rewards to Minga, and really kind of giving that drive for, hey, if you come to school, you get to do all these fun things. So it's kind of fun to kind of see like the kids just genuinely get excited for it. Next slide, please. So we have a bunch of clubs and extracurriculars. About half of them I'm very familiar with. So Highlighters is really funny. It's kind of our impromptu ASB. I can never kick the kids out at lunch. And so for some reason, they're like, we need a club that we can kick everyone else out. And I was like, well, you got to come up with some better idea. So obviously they are the highlight to my life at Martin Murphy, which is why that's now our ASBs. Those kids that originally came up with that idea are now in high school. But we have a Highlighters Club. We've got Snake Clubs. I have snakes. Makes sense. We've got Dungeons and Dragons. We've got chess, art, crocheting, knitting, soccer, all the other normal games and origami things. We've got before school, after school daycare, which is essentially Amplify, and they're always playing games. Actually a really cool group of kids. It's a different group of kids that wouldn't normally hang out, but they do. And it's just really cool to see. So we got all of those things, plus like a lot more. There's usually like 12 more clubs that will show up by Christmas. So it's a lot of fun. Next slide, and then this will be our parent. We have more than one parent, but this is one of our parents.
I don't know. I feel like I spend a lot of time at Murphy, so, So I thought I'd come speak today about Murphy. So my name's Christina Lawson. We've been Murphy family since 2021. So as you know, that was coming right off the pandemic. And we've seen a lot of changes in Murphy in this last time that we've been there. Currently, I have an 8th grader at Murphy and a 10th grader at Sobrato. And what I like about the culture at Murphy is I feel like the staff are very warm and inviting. I feel like you walk in and they are engaging, and you can approach them and talk about anything issue that you're having, whether it's, I need to change my address, or, oh, hey, do you remember when cross-country tryouts are? So I love that. And the staff are amazing. They're very approachable. So, with my kiddos in particular, if I see like maybe the way the information is not registering, it's not clocking, is what the kids say. I'm able to approach them to say, I can see the connections not being made, so we have to rethink how do we approach this so that I can make sure both kiddos are understanding the concepts that they're getting and they're set up for the success that I know they can be set up for. And the teachers are just amazing in helping with that process.
So that's the end of our presentation. I just want to let you know that we do have a remodeled front office that in a freshly painted school. So I would invite you all to come check it out because it is beautiful and we love it. So thank you so much for helping us get that remodel. And come walk classes with me. I'd love it for you to come or spend lunch with me or brunch with me. Come see. This doesn't really do justice to the feel on campus. So make sure you come by and you visit. We'd love to have you there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, any questions or comments for our Martin Murphy team? Vice President Andrade?
When does the Wordle Club meet?
And what's the age range for
What is
participants?
yes, what's the age range? What's the age cap? Actually, no, in all seriousness, I haven't been up there, full transparency. But it just looks like an amazing school. And just the activities and the clubs alone just look like there's something for everyone. And there's just a strong sense of belonging at that school. So I can't wait to actually walk some classrooms with you and get up there.
What really helped is, well, tomorrow we're going to do a club rush. So all of the clubs are going to be out kind of with a table. And then what we're doing, what's really helped this year is we've gone to one brunch and one lunch. So now all of those clubs will be open to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. When you have a double lunch, it's difficult because your advisors are either A lunch or B lunch. But now they're available to everyone. So we're really excited about that.
I know you're really interested in Snake Club. We meet on Fridays. Feel free to come. You're more than welcome.
It's going to be a resounding heck no. Appreciate the invite.
I might come. That sounds cool. Trustee Munson? No, sorry. Marquez. Sorry. I have this problem. I look at somebody and then the word changes. My apology.
Yes, I attended the back to school night last night. It was really nice. And I agree, the teachers are so welcoming, and the good majority of them that I visited, they had slides and background on them, their families. It was very personal. So it wasn't, this is the teacher, this is what they teach, and this is the curriculum. You got to know who they were, who's teaching the children. And I appreciated that. That was great. I like that. For the EL students, I am assuming that's English language students that it's not their primary language.
Correct.
How are they teamed up in the classrooms? How are they helped with the English in the classroom being mixed with the other students?
So we're fortunate enough that we have a dedicated ELD teacher at Martin Murphy. She also teaches Spanish, but we can offer the students designated ELD classes in their level, so it's a targeted level. She does an amazing job about also meeting with all of her students and setting goals for the quarters, and then they review those goals at the end to kind of track how they're progressing toward LPAC or toward iReady testing, those kinds of things. We're also we're relaunching CM as a district, but thankfully our school site is a veteran, like Mr. Ito said, but a lot of them have had CM training before. We still have a CM lead on campus. So those embedded integrated ELD supports are throughout all of our classes. So things like brick and mortar, sentence stems, different structured student talk strategies are sprinkled all throughout all of our classes. So our students are well supported throughout.
Thank you.
I forgot to thank you for coming last night. I saw you as you were walking down the hallway. I didn't want to chase after you, but I saw you.
I felt like one of the students racing from one class to the other. And at the end, my granddaughter was in her last period, and her mom and I were like, where'd she go? We're lost. So I feel for the sixth graders who are new to a school where they're having to change classes. We were one of those. Yeah. We were changing classes and we were lost.
You had a very authentic experience.
It was very authentic. But thank you. It was well put together, and I appreciated it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our student board member has some comment? Yeah, please.
My apologies if you already answered this question, but I was just curious. How did you guys manage to drop the student suspension by such a dramatic amount?
Good question.
So it was just kind of a different way of thinking. A lot of times when something goes wrong, I hate to say it, but like old school would be, let's just suspend. So we started thinking of different ways. So we really started leaning in with restorative practices. We have, if kids are vaping, we have Why Vape. So we have more support for students so that they get the help they need and teach them that what they're doing is wrong rather than just suspending them, right? Because we want to keep them in class. Our goal is to keep kids in class. And so we want them to be on campus. So when kids do something wrong, we sit back and we think about, okay, what does this student really need? Rather than, just go straight to a suspension or anything. And like Ms. Barrera said, working with our district, the DA on those days that we met at the county were extremely helpful because it was a large team that supported us. So.
If I can add to that as well. Another thing too is I think we've come to the staff we do have a veteran staff, but our kids feel comfortable telling us about these things before they become much bigger issues. And so we can get to them and prevent them before they, it's not like it's coming out of left field. So they feel comfortable coming to talk to us.
Thank you. Rose? Trustee
I'm sorry.
Marquez.
Thank you. I had one more question. I'm sorry. Can you may have said this, but what is the PBIS award? What is the PBIS acronym?
PBIS is Positive Behavior Intervention System. So the kids get rewards. Our school mottos are work hard, be kind, success is no accident. I have that last one on my school pass, like the bathroom pass. But like for the most part, they get points for, okay, you answered a question, like thank you so much. You were kind to someone in the hallway or something along those lines. Now what's really cool about the system is that you can kind of, from a teacher perspective, I can check off like, okay, Johnny said something today. So now I know, hey, Johnny's already said something, I need to hear from somebody else. And so I can kind of get a greater variety of children shouting out, or not necessarily shouting out, but sharing out, and be like, okay, you're on fire today, not physically, but like, you're on fire. Thank you so much. I'd like to hear somebody else, and that's usually enough cue. And so enough kids are able to actually speak, and especially really helpful in middle school. There's a couple kids that like to speak. There's a couple kids that really don't, and so we can kind of be able to use the system to, be positive, but then also to really encourage all the kids to be able to speak.
Yeah, that's good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, Ms. Barrera, thank you for bringing constructive meaning into that with EL and just now with the wanting to speak, because I think a lot of times students have these ideas, they just don't know how to put it into the frame, and having constructive meaning, the cards, the flip charts, the posters, yes to all of it, because it does help the students formulate their thoughts and communicate eventually, and using that academic vocabulary and language. So thank you for embedding that.
Very good. Anyone else? Just briefly, I'd like to add my thanks. And, Martin Murphy has been on quite a journey, particularly since the 2021, kind of coming back into the buildings. And some of you have been there for all of it, some of it, part of it, but, thank you for rising to the challenge and meeting the needs of our students and community. I know some days it's been tougher than others, but the attitude and community you all are building, and you're representative of a student and parent community and faculty community that's really doing something special on behalf of our students and kids. And I just want to say thank you for that. Looks like Superintendent Garcia has something to add here.
I wanted to echo what has been said, and I want to congratulate the entire team and thank you, Principal Ito, for leading this unity of purpose, this vision that unites parents and students and faculty. It's what I call collective efficacy, so thank you for that. I want to also highlight a comment that he said regarding enrollment. They've had an uptick. We had projected a lower enrollment than what they currently have. And so the students are coming back, and that's exciting. And so I want to thank you for that and for those efforts and for welcoming the new students. And I know that Murphy's enrollment will continue to grow. Thank you for everything that you do.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll close this item. Thank you again. Moving on to public comment on items not on the agenda. Do we have any requests? Seeing none, we will close public comment for, if people want to make comment on agendized items later, there will be opportunities to do that. Either, send your message over Zoom or turn in a card. So this section is for things not on the agenda, just so folks know how that works. Okay, now we're on our communication section, including our new student board member leading us off. Let's go. Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry. I skipped an item. Thank you, Trustee Munson, not Marquez. Yeah, no. I was so excited to move on. Yeah, thank you very much. Item G, I appreciate the reminder while we get your tech up. So item G1, we have the minutes from the board meeting of August 21st. Do we have a motion to approve? What's the correction?
I think Nancy led the flag salute, not me.
I'm sorry?
I think Nancy led the flag salute, not me.
That's correct. That's correct. Okay.
And then I have one more. I think under the new business items, Nancy asked for the multi-projection year with a 10% return. That wasn't added on there. Didn't you ask for that?
But,
Was that under new business or no?
no, well, that I asked to have that at this meeting for the MYP.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So then your motion is to approve with those corrections? Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Altman. All, student board member? Thank you. Other trustees? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Okay. Thank you. Now we will jump back to the student board member report. Thank you for catching that.
Good afternoon. This is my MHUSD school site report on upcoming events. As I said, my name is Ronnie, and I'm the student board member. Today is September 4th, 2025. For Live Oak High School, we have the FFA activities Santa Cruz County Fair. It's going to be from the 10th to the 14th this month. So if you're interested in attending or being part of the FFA and participating in what they do, this would be perfect for you. Second, we have Ann Sobrato High School. They have their home and school club and coffee chat with the principal on the 19th of this month at 8:45. So if you're interested in talking with the principal about anything in general, please feel free to attend. For Central, we have no report. For Britton Middle School, it is back to school night on the 11th at 6 p.m. So if you're interested in to Dr. Stormy Studden, the Los Paseos principal. So if any of your students currently enrolled at Martin Murphy are interested in joining the Buddies program, it would be very good for them. And yeah. For PA Wash Elementary School, they're having their fall book fair on the 2nd, and it goes through the 5th. So if your child likes books, allow them to attend. Barrett Elementary School is also having their fall book fair from September 12th and just September 12th. It is going to be this month, September 12th, and they're having their back to school night on the 11th at 5:30 p.m. Nordstrom Elementary School has their welcome back movie night at 5 this month at 6:30 p.m. And they also have their fall book fair from the 15th to the 19th this month. Los Paseos Elementary School has coffee with the principal from 12 at 8 a.m. And they also have their 5th grade science camp from the 23rd to the 26th. I would really recommend, if any parents are contemplating to sign their students up, I would really recommend they do it. It's a very beautiful experience and something you or they won't regret. San Martin Gwin Environmental Science Academy has their home and school club this month on the 9th at 8:15 a.m. Paradise Valley Engineering Academy has their PVAA car show tentative on the 6th at 9 a.m. and their movie night on the 26th at 4:30 p.m. Jackson Academy of Math and Music has their home and school club on the 18th at 7 p.m. Chats with the principal. 19, same thing, general conversation. Donuts and with grown-ups on the 26th at 7:30 a.m. And finally, I believe so, El Toro Health Science Academy. El Toro will be holding their readathon on September 12th. So if your child likes to read, allow them to attend. And that's all.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Well done. Now we'll have our superintendent and staff reports.
Thank you very much, President Horner. I'd like to begin this update by lifting up and highlighting our Human Resources Department, that entire department who worked tirelessly over the summer to recruit and hire the best and the brightest. And so I'd like Assistant Superintendent Taveras to give the board an update on that work.
So I am very thankful, and we are all very fortunate for the wonderful individuals that work in the HR department. I really want to offer up my gratitude to all of them. They have been working furiously over the summer and into the fall to get us staffed up to make sure that we have the right people in front of our students. We've hired over 100 people since July 1st. We've made sure that over 400 volunteers have been processed, they've been fingerprinted, they've been onboarded. We have been out looking in our community and outside of our community for the best and the brightest to be with our kids. You can see some of the places we've been so far. And we're looking to expand our search. So if anybody is aware of venues that you think our HR department should be at to recruit both classified and certificated, I would love to hear from you about that. And of course, a few of our more challenging positions to fill are listed up there. We are in need of paraprofessionals. We are in need of bus drivers. And we are in need of speech language pathologists. And so if you know any of those folks, please give us a heads up as well. It takes all of us to recruit, not just the folks that work in HR. So please talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends. This is a wonderful school district to work in, and we want to welcome in the right people to be in front of and with our children. Thank you very much, Superintendent Garcia.
Thank you so much, Assistant Superintendent Taveras. I had an opportunity to have a one-on-one with Rebecca and with Ronnie and welcomed them and onboarded them. And they are most fabulous, as you can tell. And we look forward to working with Ronnie and with Rebecca. As was mentioned earlier during the Murphy presentation, attendance, September's Attendance Month Challenge. And so this is our theme for this September. It's Mining for Knowledge starts with showing up. And so there's a series of activities in each of the days in September. And I believe Sobrato won last year. Was that who won? Yes. Sobrato did, yes. But it seems like Murphy's really gonna, give them a run for their money. So thank you, Student Services, for leading those efforts. Our back to school nights continue. And so it's lovely to welcome back our parents and our students and open up our schools in the evening where they get to talk with our fabulous staff. And so thank you to everyone for those after-hour efforts. If When we go to Central, and if you've not been to Central, and I know our summer school principal was there when this was happening. So these are our students with disabilities at Central who created their own garden. And the beautiful thing about this is that now they're reaping the fruits of their labor, and it is absolutely beautiful, well taken care of, with lots of love and support. And the custodian at Central is helping them with those efforts. And so when we go visit Central, I'll take you to the garden. Also had an opportunity to address the Chamber of Commerce and highlight all of our great work here in the school district. That was actually this morning. And good, the video is working. Britton Middle School on September 26th, which is a Friday, we'll have the official ribbon cutting for the upgrades to the Britton Gym. They have a new signage. Director Andrade shared these pictures in this video. And so you see in the drone footage that the former building, you see that black asphalt area, that is now a new hardscape for the PE department to make it their own. And so it's additional space for the students, basketball courts, other things that they're going to be placing on there. And so thank you for all that hard work with respect to giving a more beautiful facelift to Britton. We are really proud of these entrepreneurship business classes. This is in partnership with the city of Morgan Hill and Renaissance. They're a vendor that entered into an agreement with the city of Morgan Hill. And so these courses have been offered to the adults in our community, but namely our adults that attend the community adult school. And so the goal is to teach entrepreneurship in business. And so their graduation is coming up October 1st, and that will be at the Live Oak Theater. Everyone is invited. We also have the Santa Clara County Superintendent Association here. And so every year we have a retreat. And so it was lovely to be surrounded by the gorgeous Santa Cruz boardwalk. It was phenomenal. We had an opportunity to hear from leaders in our field, school services, AXA, CASBO, California Association of School Business Officials, among others. So it was wonderful. I'd like to end my update with very sobering news, but at the same time, how the community at San Martin reacted was incredibly beautiful. Fiorella Shibeta was a longtime employee at San Martin Gwen. She was a reading intervention teacher and unfortunately passed away recently. And the entire parents and the students and the faculty, our wellness team, wrapped our collective arms around each other. We are in direct communication with her family, and we'll share out the details and I'll pass those along. But an idea that came from the Home and School Club and others was to give our students an opportunity during lunch to write petals or messages to Fiorella and to her family by extension. And so I'd like to share a message that her family asked us to pass along. We did so in the message that we sent out to the community and to the parents, but we have not done so here publicly. Fiorella passed away peacefully in her home, surrounded by family and friends. She really loved the San Martin Gwen community and was proud she helped to make an impact on the lives of so many children and their families. So our heartfelt condolences to the entire San Martin Gwen community. I thank Principal Ramos, who shepherded and supported the entire community during this very difficult transition. And if I may ask for a moment of silence in her honor. Thank you so much. This concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Hard thing to move on from, but thank you. It's important to recognize. So now our next item is our employee group reports, starting with the Federation of Teachers, President Q.A. Nguyen.
Okay. Good evening, Board Trustees, Executive Cabinet, and community members. My name is QA Nguyen, and I am honored to be the elected president of the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers. I want to begin this meeting by thanking and congratulating the student board member and the alternate student board member that were elected, Ronnie Paredes Paso at Live Oak High School and Rebecca Latin at Ann Sprato High School. The input, time, and dedication that you put into these board meetings are often thankless, but know that your position on the board matters. Now that school is in full swing, I want to point out the long list of extra duty stipends that are for board approval this evening. This agenda items is indicative of how MHFT members go above and beyond their duties as educators, taking on additional responsibility to support students, build community, and lead within their school sites. MHUSD is filled with educators who are sacrificing their personal time to collaborate with colleagues and execute important work that is reflective of the district's LCAP and their school SIPSA. I want to acknowledge their willingness to put the experience of students, the opportunities of families, and the vision of their employer above oftentimes their own personal lives. I would also like to note that 96% of those members who voted did so to ratify our proposed contract changes. If final approval is received this evening through a board vote, our new contract will make progress for those members who have never been represented in our contract before, some of whom are working in positions that this is well overdue for. First, post-secondary educators have been working in the district for longer than Lori Shoemaker, MHFT office staff, can even remember, all of which under a contract that did not even include their program. Next, categorical therapeutic extensive support educators, formerly known as BETA, have been working in this district for approximately 14 or 15 years, all of which under a contract that did not accurately reflect their working conditions of their classrooms. Finally, categorical neurodiverse extensive support educators, formerly known as CAPA, school-based mental health clinicians, also known as wellness counselors, and educationally related mental health services counselors, all have been in the district for at least 3 years, all of which under a contract that did not accurately reflect the working conditions of their physicians. While there are only a few of these educators in our bargaining unit, they work with students who are systematically underserved and therefore need parameters in areas such as class sizes, caseloads, and staffing ratios. It is with your vote this evening that these aforementioned educators and students will be better represented and protected in this district. I thank you in advance for your yes vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now the Morgan Hill Educational Leaders Association will be represented by Patrick Buxer. In person. Good to see you, Mr. Buxer.
Yes, great to see you all. I have 3 full pages of a report tonight.
Hey, that's 3 pages or 3 Post-its?
Right
Okay. We've seen this movie before.
School's in full swing. Wanted to give a special report tonight from our Student Services Department. Starting of the school year, we counted every child every day. We leveled our classes and worked with the union Federation of Teachers to stabilize our classes and make sure we were under caps and provided overages as needed. We are currently in the process of redoing our safety plans, which will be approved by our school site councils no later than October, and which will be coming to you in the very near future. We're in the process of doing our run, hide, and defend drills for training as well as drills. In fact, our drill is tomorrow at Jackson. We went through some, page 2. We went through some multidisciplinary team, MDT team, process review, and crisis protocol and response reviews as well. These are the foundational supports as we move forward into school year. Steph Curry knows how to do a layup, but he does 1,000 of them every day. Not that he just needs to practice, but it's the foundation. So as we are practicing PBIS, reviewing our multidisciplinary team protocols, our crisis management team, response processes, all these things are the Steph Curry layup to starting the year the right way. And finally, as stated before, is attendance month. And so we're off to a great start. In fact, tomorrow, I think on the competition is to send out perfect attendance letters to all the kids that have had perfect attendance. So we calculated all the kids, and I hope to get every point out of that for our school. We have 400 and something plus students already with perfect attendance in our school, so it's a good number. It's a lot of letters. We're continuing with our UDL professional development. Our climate and culture teams are meeting and getting organized, and moving forward with. We reviewed our SIPSAs, our school plans, our school goals in accordance with our FACE plan. And so we are incorporating that into our climate and culture teams. So it truly is aligned, as our superintendent has been working to make sure all of our visions are straight on point. And continue with our UDL professional development in our PLC process. And finally, you will have Mahela's Meet and Confer offer tonight. We want to thank you for your consideration for our Meet and Confer. And that is it for the 3-page report. Thank you.
Okay, Vice President Andrade has a question. Nice try, Mr. Buxer.
Mr. Buxer,
Mr. Buxer.
I just have one question.
Okay, yeah.
Compliment
This is a
you.
little
I love
unusual.
the fit, as the kids say. Really quickly, about the safety plan and the Run, Hide, Defend, specifically because this is an elementary school. I don't know if we discussed this before as a board. Is there, I know in the high school level, it's just classrooms, but in light of everything that's been going on in the country, are there plans to do the drills when the kids are like at recess?
We actually have had a real scenario of that same nature after school. And so the practice that we do during the hide and defend portion came into play. It was actually on a Wednesday afternoon when school was let out. We had a bunch of athletic programs, YMCA, so forth. A lot of kids. I was in a staff meeting actually too. And so nothing of grave danger, but we needed to bring everybody in. And it was wonderful to see the response from everybody to come in. And so I've had direct experience with that, and the protocols that go right off. You call the superintendent, PD comes out, they wait for clearance, they know exactly what to do. This is many years ago, and it was wonderful to see it all play out the way it was supposed to. So anyway, yep.
Thank you.
You bet.
That was page 4. Well done, thank you. I believe that completes our employee group reports for this evening. Move on to item J, consent items. Do we have any trustees requesting to pull an item for further discussion?
Yes,
Okay.
just a question.
So which item?
J2A, sorry, looking for it.
J2A, the dual enrollment CCAP? that
Yes.
one? Okay. So we will pull that for a question. Any others? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent calendar?
So move.
Thank you, Trustee Altman. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Vice President Andrade. Student Board Member, how do you vote? Aye. Other board members, if you agree, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none? Okay. Trustee Altman, your question on J2A, the dual enrollment CCAP with Gavilan College.
When I looked at it, it looks like the agreement is for 1 semester. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're correct. It's for 1 semester. We're working with Gavilan College and a couple of other items. So we're hoping that this will give us some time to work between now and the spring semester to bring another MOU.
Another semester. Because is the math a year-long class?
They're semester courses.
Okay, I was just wondering what would happen if it didn't happen, but.
We're working diligently behind the scenes to make sure we.
Okay, let me know if you need any help. I move that we approve this.
Thank you, Trustee Altman. Do we have a second? I second. And before the vote, I'll just say, Dr. Garcia has kept me in the loop on this as board president, just some of the details, and it's down to agreeing on what's reasonable in terms of money flows between the organizations based on lots of different rules and things. So I'm very confident they'll get it worked out. I don't expect any negative impact on students, but every now and then there are administrative things between organizations that need to get sorted. Is that fair to say? Okay, I'll just leave it at that. That being said, a student board member? Aye. Other board members, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Very good. Now we are on the K section of general business. So these are agreements between the school district and the various bargaining units. And just each of these is broken into two parts. The first part is like K1 is a public hearing. So I will open a public hearing if anyone wishes to make comment on this item in addition to what was shared in the update. That'll be an opportunity to do that. Then we'll close the public hearing. Then the item 2 will be any discussion amongst the board and a vote. Just that's what's going to happen. So we'll get to do all these twice. So I will, item K1, open a public hearing on the tentative agreement between Morgan Hill Unified School District and the Morgan Hill Classified Employees Association effective July 1 of 2024. So this is took a year to get there. But this is for last year and also the current school year, correct? And the related salary schedule. Do we have any requests for public comment on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and now move to item K2, approval of the tentative agreement. I'm not going to read all of what I just read. Assistant Superintendent Tavares will present the item.
Yes, we would like to ask that the Board of Education votes to ratify the contract that we put forward between our classified unit, the MESIA, and our school district. And we invite any questions that you may have.
Any questions or comments? I'll just say thank you to all involved for all the hard work. I know it was a lot of hard work, and thank you. And that said, do we have a motion to approve? Thank you, Trustee Munson. Do we have a second? Thank you, Trustee Marquez. Let's see, this is a contract item, so I'm sorry, student board member, this isn't one you get to vote on. The trustees, if you agree, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. And I will tell my plumber, I'm not talking to him now. Okay. Item 3, the public hearing on the tentative agreement between Morgan Hill Unified School District and the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers, effective July 1, 2024. So I'll open that public hearing. Do we have any public comment on this item? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, move to item 4, approval of the tentative agreement between Morgan Hill Unified School District and the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers. Again, I will mention my thanks to all involved.
We would like to respectfully ask that the Board of Education approves and ratifies the contract proposal with our Federation partners.
Seeing no requests for questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve? Okay, thank you, Trustee Munson. Do we have a second? Thank you, Trustee Marquez. We may have to share the love here on the next one. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? There are none. That passes unanimously. Okay, item K4, approval of the tentative agreement between the Morgan Hill Unified School District and the Morgan Hill, item 5, Morgan Hill Educational Leadership Association, effective July 1, 2024, and the associated salary schedule. Opening a public hearing, do we have any requests for public comment on this item? Seeing and hearing none, close the public hearing, turn the page. Item K6, approval of the tentative agreement between the school district and Morgan Hill Educational Leadership Association. Seeing no question or comment, do we have a motion? Trustee Munson, do we have a second? Okay, Trustee Marquez, it's a trifecta. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or Trustee Andrade?
Aye, but can you?
I'm sorry, yes.
I would,
Yes,
before
thank
I vote, can you?
Yeah. So one of our members has a spouse that works for the school district. There's a question about voting on a contract for an employee group that represents a member of the family, and that we checked with our lawyers, and the simple answer is yes, that's totally appropriate as long as it's for the complete group. I do know from other experiences, if it were a contract with a unrepresented third party, Community Solutions or any of the many that we have contracts with, then that person would need to recuse themselves. But since it's voting on the contract for a bargaining unit of which a member's spouse happens to be a member, that is absolutely allowed under California law. So it's one of those things that every now and then comes up as a question. And thank you, Vice President Andrade, for reminding me to put that on the record.
All right, so aye.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
so that passes unanimously. Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Did I miss anything?
trustees.
Thank you. Well done. Okay, item 7, Summer Learning Program Report. Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Jimenez.
Good evening,
Introduce this item.
trustees. So I'm going to turn this over, my introduction is going to be quick, to our summer school principals. We're going to start with Alex, who was our Carlson, who is our summer school principal for TK8. And then we will turn it over to Fernando Camargo, who is our summer school principal for the high school. So Alex.
Hi, good evening, trustees, President Horner, Dr. Garcia, and assistant superintendents. Like Dr. Jimenez said, my name is Alex Carlson. I am currently the assistant principal at Jackson, and I brought my cheering crowd with me tonight. I'm the assistant principal at Jackson, and I had the honor of serving our community as the summer school principal for our K-8 learning program this year. So I'm just going to share some of the successes and highlights we had this year. So an overview of some of the programs we had, we were able to offer a multitude of programs from general education to extended learning, our extended learning year, which was our ESY program. We offered Mommy and Me classes. Sorry, take a little breath, a little nervous, it's okay. We had the Silicon Valley Tech Academy, which served 6th through 8th grade students. We also offered the YMCA Amplify program for after-school care, and this year we actually added a partnership between the Morgan Hill Library and our summer program, as well as added the Julia Robinson Math Festival. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. Oh, no, you're totally...
Wow. I can see her press the button and then...
Just wait, yeah.
Nope, that's it.
Let's dial up. DSL. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Wes. Just kidding.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You don't have mail.
No worries at all. I can keep going gladly. Okay, so the summer learning program was enjoyed from students across the district. With the help of our 3 bus routes and our amazing transportation department, we were able to enroll 315 students in our general education classroom and 33 special education students, and the transportation offer was open to them as well. Our dedicated staff consisted of 14 staff, 21 teachers, 21 paraprofessionals, and I want to give a huge shout out to the summer school staff this year. They showed up every day ready to create engaging experiences for our students, and there was just a positive hum across the campus. So for our curriculum and assessments, we used a curriculum created by our teachers on special assignment. Our TOSAs, they created an engaging and purposeful curriculum that was aligned with GLAD strategies in order to support our English language learners. And this year, one of the highlights when I would go into the classroom and talk with students was they really enjoyed the addition of counting collections in our math program, which is an opportunity for students in all grade levels to work with items, counting them, sorting them, grouping them, organizing them in ways that make sense for their specific need, for their specific grade level. And so that was a really great opportunity to see something that all teachers could do, but served so many. And I actually have some pictures on the next slide. So you can see all these students were working with counting collections. They were organizing, grouping, sorting. In the bottom corner are 6th grade students counting very tiny buttons, but arranging them in rows of groups and creating multiplication problems out of what they counted and what they collected. So that was just some of the highlights. So for assessments this year, we used iReady to track student progress. We compared it against the end of year diagnostic that was given at all of the schools. So we administered it during the last week of our summer program. Next slide. So this is just a snapshot of our summer program for reading. The top is our summer school data, and then the bottom is the diagnostic 3, which students had completed in May. The next slide. Sorry, the dial-up. And then this is the math data with the snapshot of summer school on the top and then the diagnostic 3 on the bottom.
Sorry, so just want to make sure I understand what we're reading there.
Mhm.
When it says summer, so is that the beginning of summer school?
That
And
is
then
at the end of summer
And what
school,
was diagnostic 3 then?
was at the end of May. So students, they did make a little bit of backwards progress, but only 100, if you can see at the top where it says overall placement, students assessed versus total, only 131 of our 315 students were able to complete the iReady because it was administered during the 5th week of summer school and we had a lot of technical difficulties. So next year, we're kind of circumventing that by administering the iReady during the 4th week of summer school.
And was this the same cohort or the?
This is the same, yes, it's the comparison of summer school is just those 131 students.
Okay, understood, thank you.
It is the same group of kids, yes.
Trustee Altman?
Thank you. Do you have any theories why backward progress was made?
We had a lot of technical issues with our iReady. We also didn't administer, so we didn't administer it until the 5th week of summer school. A lot of students weren't showing up at that time, and then there were a lot of technical difficulties. So it was honestly a little bit rushed by some teachers because we really wanted to get it done. They wanted to, do what was being asked of them was to complete the iReady, and to the detriment of giving students the time they need to go at a pace that could have benefited them more.
We're always learning.
No, of course. And it's, we've already got our document of things we can do great next year, but we had a lot of great successes this year as well. So
On that note,
Mhm.
if I can add,
Please.
or just ask, is there the concept of, testing fatigue and the concept of, what is it, the economic concept of diminishing returns, right?
Mhm.
Like the more they're doing it, they're regressing, and I'm just wondering how much summer, temperature, internet, testing fatigue,
Mhm.
coming off, right? Performance, is that?
yeah, I think all those could be factors. But I think also too, we have teachers who are learning new groups of students and what benefits them. And, while we follow like 504 and IEP accommodations, we don't know if a student, might benefit from, a quieter space and things like that. So all things to consider for next time, but the fatigue definitely, yeah. So here's an overview of some of the other programs we had. So we had extended school year, which was our ESY program. We had 5 teachers from across the district ranging from preschool through middle school. And we were able to serve 33 students with the support of our 22 paraprofessionals. One of the partnerships that I was really proud of was the connection between the Morgan Hill Library and our summer learning program. Because our summer learning program took place at PA Walsh this year, students were able to walk to the library, and every single grade level got to go on a field trip to the library, and they offered library card applications. They offered field trips where you can see in the bottom left corner, they toured the back of the library and learned how books were processed and all of those kinds of behind the scenes things. They also offered assemblies for our upper grades in science, so that they did like a mad science assembly one day. And then we also had our 6th grade and kindergartners partner and go to the library together for buddy field trips. We added the addition of the Julia Robinson Math Festival this year as well. I believe they go to Barrett typically during the school year, but they reached out to us and offered this program completely free of charge for us. And we hosted it during the school day. And so they put out different games that pertain to different math standards. And every single student who was at summer school got to go and participate in these games. So it was a really fun, engaging day. We also had the Silicon Valley Tech Academy this year. They have worked with our summer learning program for multiple years. So they have brought STEAM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They did the egg drop. They had students go and tour power plants. They had students who went to San Jose State University and also participated in a Python and other coding academies over there. And then the last 3 programs were the wellness center we had on campus, our Migrant Mommy and Me preschool program, and then our YMCA and Amplify after school care. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to highlight was we had a lot of 6th grade field trips. Our 6th grade teacher was wonderful and did weekly field trips to the local watershed in our area and to the local creek bed. So she took the 6th grade students out every single week. They collected trash, they weighed the trash, they measured trash. She made so much learning happen out of just simply going to the creek bed and exploring and taking care of our community. They were able to remove over 3,500 pollutants from that creek bed. And then they also went to Point Blue Conservation to restore Fisher Creek by planting and tending to the native plants. So that was a great opportunity. And she also took them to the library very regularly. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to the secondary summer school principal, Fernando.
Yeah, take a
Thank
quick
you.
pause, see if there's any
So sorry.
any questions
Any
or comments on
questions?
K-8
Yes.
while we're here? Seeing none. Trustee Munson, please.
It just looks so fun. It's
Thank
so
you.
engaging. I mean, I've taught summer school before, and
Mhm.
if I could go to the library every day, if I could have so many field trips, and that's how they're going to learn. So it
Yeah.
just looked so amazing. Thank
Thank you.
Please.
So the watershed teacher, was that Mrs. Jarson?
It was Mrs. Jarson, yes.
She is
She's
phenomenal.
wonderful,
Yeah,
yes.
she's awesome. They're very lucky to have her to
And it
teach
was,
them.
the students were very engaged and very motivated to be here. And I noticed a lot of positive behavior management from her because kids, I'd walk into the room and they'd tell each other, we gotta do this because we gotta earn getting to go on the watershed walk. And so
Yeah.
it was a really great reinforcer.
That's great. I'm
yeah.
glad that you're able to have her. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I'll just add
Oh,
quickly,
yes.
you made me want to be a 6th grader again as well. That looks like so much fun. And as a matter, I guess, of opinion, not policy, I think Walsh is the perfect place to do this. I hope we keep doing it there because of the access, wonderful programs. I don't know if our students know, for the online access, every student ID in Morgan Hill Unified is a library card, and the wealth of resources available online is amazing. I love physical books, so I love going there as well. But it's just, it's an amazing resource. Our county offers books, video, audiobooks, research databases. There's all sorts of things that would cost a fortune to access otherwise that all of us have access to. So,
Yeah, I very much appreciate and want to give a shout out to the Morgan Hill Library because they were incredibly kind and generous with their time and resources. And they also offered, I didn't mention it in my slides, but our students got to participate in the free lunch for kids. So every time they went to a field trip, students were able to access the lunch. And then as well, a lot of the middle school students after they left summer school would go to the library and access the lunch as well for a second lunch. Because, you know, when you're in middle school, you would love 2 lunches. So thank you so much.
Okay.
I really appreciate the opportunity to serve as the
Yeah.
summer school principal.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go on to.
Board President John Horner and Board of Trustees, Dr. Carmen Garcia, Superintendent, District Cabinet, thank you for letting me talk today. My voice is a little raspy. My son got me sick, so being a dad has its wonders, okay? I am a proud assistant principal of the Live Oak High School and an honor and pleasure of serving the principal this summer again for the 3rd year in a row at Central High School. It was a pleasure of mine. Our summer school credit recovery program had a couple of changes, but again, remained the same throughout the summer. We still have our Mentum classes, our Cyber High classes for students to create make credit recovery back from those classes. We did provide our ERMs, our school psychologist, our wellness center, our ESY, our extended school year for our students. We did offer in-person IM1, in-person biology, and the Bridge to IM1. And the Bridge to IM1 class was our initiative for our 8th graders to receive some support going into freshman year with their mathematics and IM1. So it was kind of initiative. Integrated Math 1.
Thank you.
Integrated Math 1. Our summer school staff's members to make this credit recovery work for this summer. One highlight, I just want to say thank you to the district office for working with me to providing another counselor. The very first week, we have many kids in different classes. They want to make sure they have the right classes. They think they know all about their transcripts, and most do. But again, it was really great to have the support of having another counselor there. And again, both those counselors supporting the start of summer school is amazing. So thank you, district office. Our program flexibility, I want to focus on the word flexibility because a lot of our staff members really went above and beyond for our kiddos. We do 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 12:30, but it was far extended past that. A lot of teachers stayed till 1:30 working with students because they felt the need that they needed the extra time to take assessments. We try to cut them off about 12:10, letting them, they got to be a little earlier, but all the teachers, I would say majority of my teachers wanted to stay a little bit later to help out students, and that was the amazing part of our flexibility working with our kids. This year we did provide lunch at no cost for breakfast and lunch, so kids got also 2 lunch, which means I got the leftovers, so it was nice. Again, all our exams were proctored in front of a certified teacher in the classroom, so that was another great component of our flexibility. Next slide, please. The other flexibility is that the students have an opportunity to go from teacher to teacher. Not every teacher is a math teacher, not every teacher is a science teacher. So if they needed support in a certain class, we had a multitude of teachers, whether it was ranging from science to history to biology to IM1 to small instruction. So they really got that opportunity to go from teacher to teacher, or they felt more comfortable with the teacher because they've been helping along the way. That was a great part of the flexibility of our program, that the kids felt most comfortable with certain teachers. And then again, moving around as we got to get the students to feel at best coming to school to take the assessment. MHUSD we served about 512 students, middle and high school students. The numbers are there. We did have 2 7th graders that got nominated to be a part of the Bridge to IM1 class. They chose not to sign up, but we did give them a call. My teachers do a really good job of doing that. That's one of my expectations, to make that good communication. The 12th graders is another highlight. We did have 9 plus 13 ESY seniors to attend summer school. The in-person instruction, so the Bridge to Integrated Math 1, we did end with 5 students completing the program, and that is tied to no grade. It's all about providing the gap support for them to be prepared for 9th grade IM1. For our IM1 class, we did finish with the 9 students. Out of the 9, 8 passed. So again, working with those kiddos, a big shout out to that teacher. She knows who she is. She's amazing. She's been working for me for 3 years. Again, give her a lot of kudos. Our biology provided for our students are in-person, that biology was offered, and Central to provide that for our students, and we just obliged and really made that an opportunity for kids to get credit back. So it was really great. Our student success is measured in different ways, but for us, we calculated it in semester classes. So out of all the students that were there at summer school, 487 semester long classes were passed, a total of 2,435, 2,315 of those credits were met for A through G eligibility, moving on to the next level. So that was a big success of our team. ESY, our extended school year program. They AP goals of the kids. So it was really great to have a lot of paras, a lot of support in the classroom. It was a great ratio for our kids. It was probably maybe 2 to 1 in both rooms. So that made it for a great year for ESY. And theme and the music parts, which they did get me wet, which was amazing for the kids because they had an activity outside. So I wanted to be a part of that curriculum with them and let them know that the staff wasn't part of it. So again, a lot of staff members supported that curriculum, and it was really great to have in a music park outside of my office. We celebrated a fair with games and activities. Our progress, our monitoring student progress, this was really important to me as an administrator, as a teacher, as just a father as well, because I do have a son that comes here. Again, the weekly progress checks by all staff members, it was a big key to make communication weekly, and not just weekly, but also daily. If a student wasn't making that progress, all teachers kept a spreadsheet so I can review their notes on who's not coming, who's making progress, who's making limited progress, who's not showing up. And we did a really good job between our staff in the front office and the teachers to really make those phone calls to let teachers know, or let parents know, that we want their students in schools, we want to support them, we want to see them pass. And we did a great job making that communication. mission. Our summer school mission is just very simple. We believe that all students can be successful and receive credits, and weekly communication is key by showing on the next slide. So this is parent communication from Just My Teachers. They sent out emails and phone calls over 2,500 times. And I have a tracking sheet that shows how many times they reach out to the parent, how many times they reach out to the student, whether it was a school-wide email, whether it was just a specific email for the teacher. That was a real big kudos to them because we had more kids come in than we ever had. Our average number was just about 100 kids per day, and it is growing and it is increasing. So that's a good thing for my teachers to continue that communication over summer. In the front office staff, we didn't do as much this year because, again, the teachers took the bulk of it. We made about 315 phone calls and had through about 315 phone calls and in-person meetings with parents. So that was really a positive outlook for us. The last side, and I guess the big prize for everybody is we did have 8 students receive their high school diploma. So we saved 8 students in the summer school program. Only 5 participated in the graduation for summer, but again, saving 8 kids is more than enough for me to continue to do this program. Again, it's loved by our district, it's loved by our community, and I just want to continue this positivity through next year. Questions?
Wow. Questions, comments? Trustee Marquez.
Just out of curiosity, on the courses that you offered, you put in biology, it was a hit, but what drew you to offer biology? Was it because of the students that were needing the credits in biology, or is it because it's a popular course?
I think the counselors can attest and answer that a lot better than I can because they work with the kids. They're the ones that are seeing what the kids need and what they're asking for, and that was a big push for biology. Maybe it's something in the schedule that doesn't fit too well. Maybe we don't offer it as much sections as we do IM1. We can fit IM1 1 through 7. We have many sections that provide that. But maybe in the high school with biology, it might not offer as much because we don't have that many sections. So kids want to retake it. Sometimes they have to wait till their sophomore year or their junior year, or they have to move it along through following the process of the 4-year. So again, I think that's just what the kids really wanted. I want biology. I'm going to get math. I mean, we've been pushing math since they were little to 3rd grade till now. They get math, and we still got to work on that as a team. But again, I think that's what the kids really wanted, and we offered that for them.
Well, good. And it shows that you're listening to the students and what they want and what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we don't ever want to lose that aspect with our kiddos. We want them to know that we're listening to them.
Quick follow-up question on that. So the 24 students in biology, had they previously taken biology and weren't successful? That was that was part of it as well. And I know completion with C's or better. Math is typically the #1 hurdle, and I think the sciences are right after that in terms of the hurdles that people struggle. So that's wonderful. Other questions or comments?
Yeah, some clarification questions. Okay, so the 24 students were in person for bio? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. And then can you, was there a difference in the number of students taking IM1 on Cyber High and Edmentum versus in person? Because I would just imagine, like, there's only 9 students in person for IM1.
So for us, the IM1 class, we only offered 1 semester. We didn't want to beat them down for a whole year in just that semester of class. So what we did is if they passed first semester, but failed second semester, we put them into an in-person IM1 class, backed up with this Mentum class or Cyber High. But if they failed first semester and passed second semester, then we didn't input the IM1 class into them. They just took it on a Mentum or Cyber High, whatever we had room for them in that class.
Okay, and then follow-up question, lockdown browsers. I know there's teachers who proctor the exams, but having been at Central and Cyber and Edmentum and being independent studies teacher, is there an issue with proctoring? Do we see a desire to move towards lockdown browsers at the higher ed level? This is what we do even at the distance ed, in a distance ed class. And so I'm just wondering, like with summer school, especially with Cyber High and Edmentum.
I will tell you this, that the amount of students in class is not very high. I have 13 classrooms, so an average 100 a day. Except the last week we had 240, 250, so we're very impacted. But the first 4 weeks with those low numbers and 2 teachers kind of supporting each classroom, it's very easy to maintain the test security. Okay. So again, moving forward, I think it is a conversation that we may have, but I think at this time, I think what we're doing right now, we have for kids to come, and then it might be just 10. So again, the opportunity to keep that test security at its highest level, I think we did really did a good job, and I think my teachers would say the same.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Altman, and then our student board member.
I'm actually am really wondering what Rachel wants to ask or say. Rebecca, sorry, Rebecca.
Come to the mic so our Zoom folks can hear you. Yeah. We can hear you, but you have an interstellar audience out there.
I really just want to thank you and your program so much. My brother was actually one of the students who failed IM1 for first semester and was in your program. He ended up passing in his semester with a B+. And I just want to say that the support that your school has provided for him, I'm just so happy to say that he is striving, and I am too. And I believe that like if you continue doing what you guys are doing, you can make a huge impact on our students who are struggling. So thank you so much. Thank you to your staff. Thank you to your counselors. Thank you so much. I'm really proud to see you guys here. So thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to say that.
Amen. Thank you.
Rachel, yes?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, I can't thank you enough. I cry a lot, so if I'm crying, I promise I'm sweating. No. Sweating.
No.
I just want to say thank you, because it's a huge testament, not just to me, but it's my staff. And they care as much as I do, so I'm glad your brother did well, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Or Trustee Altman.
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just going to compliment, I was going to say something, I forgot
We'll come
about
back
your
to you.
energy.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Trustee Altman and the student board member, then, yeah, it's all good.
Good job, and I just wanted to make sure that Rebecca, who I'll always think of as Rachel, I'm sorry, was able, I saw she had something to share.
Wonderful. Thank you for catching that and bringing it to our attention. Please.
For your summer school mission, how are you guys specifically planning on making sure every student will be successful and recover all their credits?
We make multiple opportunities to connect with the parents through emails, through phone calls. I even picked up a kid at home. Our job is to let them know that we're there. We called so many parents after the first week to let them know that their student is in summer school. And my child never told me. Well, they are. Can we get them down here? Can they come over? Can we pick them up? Can we be here till 2 o'clock? We make a conscious effort to be there longer than the day is, because it requires that from all of us. And I think that's the most important thing, Ronnie. The communication between us to parents is huge, and we want them to know that we're there for them. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, please.
I
Vice President
wanted to add, your energy is very apparent that you care about students, and I think that this, sometimes we put in efforts and things like that, but it's really apparent that that's why you have the success that you did. And I think that it's a lot due to your leadership and the fact that students know that they're valued when they are in your presence. And I just witnessing it here. So I wanted to also add that.
Blame my dad, okay?
And I think it's great that you're being vulnerable, modeling vulnerability for our male students. Great. Action.
Just last thing on my end, I just want to thank my teachers that are watching. A lot of them did want to come, but they did know that we're at the very end, so they're like, we'll see you tomorrow. So it was an honor to have, some of them wanted to come with me, and just to show you that team right there really does care for kids, and I'm so honored that you guys see that, because I really do care for kiddos. From Dr. Garcia, from texting me all the time in summer school, to making sure that I'm okay with what we got going on there. And if you know, you know, but again, it's an honor to be part of this district. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll add my own thanks and observation. I think it was 6 years ago, here, our credit recovery program, like what you're talking about. I remember going into the room and looking around. It's kind of a teacher sitting at a desk and a bunch of kids on their laptop, and I was pretty sure I was the one most excited to be there of anybody in the room, and it was kind of frankly depressing, and it was something. It was much better than nothing, but the district direction and you and the staff picking this up, and everybody that came together, and the students, to really make it impactful and meaningful and special. We're not doing compliance. You're not just in there checking boxes. you're making lives better, you and the whole team. And so I think you've heard from everyone. We see it, we feel it, we appreciate
A long way
it.
to go.
Yeah, there's always, it's a mountain without a top, as they say. It's a mountain without a top. But thank you for thank you all, everyone involved, for climbing it.
everybody.
And
Go
and
Cowboys.
kudos to the students. And kudos to the students. You know, just all the students involved too. I mean, they really had to make an extra effort. You know, for these young people, this probably wasn't their first idea of how to spend 4 weeks in the summer. So
Probably not.
kudos to any of the students listening. You know, thank you for doing what you needed to do. Okay.
Thank you, President Horner. Thank you, everybody.
This is just to receive, to vote on there. So I think it's unanimously thank you. We'll move on to item 8, a public hearing resolution regarding sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials. I think we'll do this item, take a short break, and then we'll go on to our final items.
All right. Good evening, President Horner, members of the board, Superintendent Garcia, members of Executive Cabinet, and guests. My name is Dr. Yuri Jacinto, Director of Elementary Education. This evening, I will be sharing information on the Williams on the instructional material sufficiency process, which is conducted in accordance with the Williams Settlement Act. To ensure sufficiency, meaning that every student has a board-adopted textbook or instructional material to use both in class and at home, the Educational Services Division begins placing initial orders in the summer based on projected enrollment. At the start of the school year, the Educational Services Division works with principals and school site staff to compare these orders with the verified enrollment numbers, including the number of students identified as English learners. Adjustments are made to address any shortages or overages. Throughout the year, the Educational Services Division continues to order and distribute textbooks and instructional materials to ensure that every student has timely access to them. Educational Services remains committed to reviewing and refining this process so that all students have the resources they need for learning. Posted in every school office and the district office at least 10 days in advance of this meeting. The Educational Services Division will return at the October 9th board meeting with an update on the status of the instructional material sufficiency and to request adoption of a resolution confirming compliance.
Thank you. So this is a public hearing on this item. We'll actually come back at a later meeting for action. So at this time, we'll open. Seeing none in the room or on Zoom, we will at 7:33 close public comment. Any clarifying questions from the trustees on this item? And unfortunately, 7:40, stretch, bio break, whatever, and then we will continue to the budget. Thank you. Okay. Are things working or not quite? Can't get the presentation to show on the screen? Ta-da, okay. 7:44, I'll call the meeting back to order, a few minutes late because of technical difficulties. Assistant Superintendent Calvera will introduce the unaudited actuals for 24-25. Yes.
Thank you, President Horner. Before we start, I do want to give a quick thank you to Doris Lopez and her team for spending tirelessly or working tirelessly over the summer to close the book. So we have a very short timeline in doing so, and they did an amazing job. So thank you. So as I mentioned, this report reflects how the districts end up financially last fiscal year, in terms of revenue that it collected, total expenditures, and the fund balance that it ended up with. Next slide, please. So this first slide reflects the total revenue that the general fund received in fiscal year 24-25. As you can see there, the district received close to $132 million, of which 100 and close to 2 million is on the unrestricted side, and close to 30 million is on the restricted side. The bulk of our money comes from LCFF. As you can see, it represents about almost 73% of total revenue. The second biggest pot is that we get are the state. Almost 15% of it comes from the state. And then other local revenue consists about almost 10%. And then federal dollars, we receive close to $4 million, which is about 3% of our total revenue. This slide represents the total expenditures for the general fund. In total, the general fund had an expenditure of about $135 million, of which 88 million is on the unrestricted side, and about 46 million is on the restricted side. As you know, salaries and benefits comprised of the majority of the expenditures. For this year, to be exact, total salaries and benefits came out to about 81.6% of the total budget itself. This slide shows a comparison between the estimated actuals and unaudited actuals for the unrestricted general fund. Starting with the revenue component, the first line represents the LCFF dollars. Very minimal change, about $13,000, so it's immaterial. For federal dollars, there's an increase of about $68,000. Most of it is due to MA funding. This is similar to the Medi-Cal that we receive. On the other state revenue, there was an increase of about $524,000, 370 of which came from transportation revenue that the state gave to the district. In addition to that, we saw a STRS BHAP increase of about $180,000. Just to give you a little background on STRS on BHAP, this is the portion that districts have to post at the end of the year on their books in terms of the contribution that the state makes on behalf of every school district in the state of California for STRS contribution. It's supposed to be a ghost entry because we don't actually get any revenue or pay out any expenditure. It's just we have to recognize it on our books. It's part of a GASB requirement that we need to do. So it's an end of year entry that every district has to post. In terms of local revenue, this is where we saw biggest increase. $500,000 of it is related to interest revenue. You may recall last year, there was also an increase in the fair market value for interest. These are revenue that has not materialized yet. So they're unrealized. It's really almost like investing in the stock market and seeing how much it would pay out in the future. So we haven't received any cash yet, and we don't know how much of it we're going to receive. It's just an estimate at this point, but we're required to post that entry at year's end. And then the other change that we saw was we were able to charge our charter school an oversight fee. So this was a catch-up year because we missed some bills that we were supposed to send to them in the previous year. So that's why you saw the increase there, about $137,000. For the other financing source revenue, you'll see a big increase here of about 3.9. The bulk of it is actually a transfer from our Fund 17, which is our special reserve fund. We've had this discussion over the last fiscal year about closing out Fund 17. So this was the final action that we needed to take to close out that fund by transferring all the fund balance from Fund 17 to unrestricted general fund. And then for the other financing source, not a significant amount, our transfer to the maintenance account came in a little lower because our 3% requirement was a little lower. So that then requires you to transfer the full amount. So there was a savings there. In terms of expenditures, starting with certificated salaries, you'll see a savings about 1.2 there. The bulk of it was in our LCAP, about 450,000. And then the remaining is kind of scattered all over the districts in different sites and in different programs. And so, we might have a unfilled position here at one school site or one site department, but when you add them all together, it accumulates in a pretty a big amount sometimes. For classified, again, same scattered savings all across the districts from sites to department. In terms of the employees' benefits, the 1.1 savings, those are related to the savings in the previous two line items for certificate and classified salaries. For books and supplies, we saw about $722,000 in savings. Approximately 500 of it is in the LCAP, and then the remainder are, again, in various sites and department. And then for other operating costs, we actually spent a little more than what we projected, almost $390,000. Those are mainly related to increase in utility costs that we were experiencing last year. So with that, at estimated actual, we were projecting to end the year, including Fund 17, with about $37 million in reserve, which equates to about 25%. Because we did a little better at unaudited actuals, our fund balance is actually at $42.3 million. So the reserve percentage is up to 30.3%, which is an increase of about 5% from estimated actuals to unaudited actuals. Next slide, please.
I have a question about questions. Do you want the questions at the end or when you're on the representative slides?
Yeah. No, whenever. Yeah.
Please, Trustee Altman, ask your question. Yeah.
Okay, one question, the question I have on this slide is with transferring Fund 17, which really isn't an increase in revenue, it's just us emptying out our savings account into our checking account and listing fair market value, that comes up to a bit over $5 million. I'm just wondering if this is skewing what we're looking at, because these aren't increases in revenue, they're just, like if you have to drain your savings account because you're running out of money, and then you say, wow, look, I have all this money in my checking account, it doesn't seem, it seems disingenuous to me, and I'm curious, is this standard operating procedure, and how would you interpret this? Like, is it a good thing, or?
Well, it's a good thing that we kind of improve in both areas, both revenues and savings and expenditures in terms of what we budget and what we didn't spend at the end of the year. If we factored in actually the contribution from Fund 17 to the unrestricted general fund, the difference would have been $9 million. You may recall that at estimated actuals, we were projecting to have a deficit spending of about $8.2 million. What it's showing here is that we actually, including the transfer from Fund 17, we're showing actually a surplus of 1.1 rather than a deficit of 8.2. So the change was about $9 million if you factored in the transfer from Fund 17. But if you're just taking into account the actual revenue that we received in addition to what we projected at estimated actual and the total expenditures, it was about a $5 million improvement.
Without the Fund 17.
Correct. If you add Fund 17, it'll be around $9 million. Yeah.
Yes, if I could add a comment, I pulled up last year's unaudited actuals, just my screen, it's not everybody's. Just I like to kind of look apples to apples a year apart. And last year's unaudited actuals, final available reserves, including Fund 17, was 30.4%. So, I mean, there's lots of different ways to Trustee Almond, lots of different ways of looking at these numbers and things you have to comply with and things. But, I mean, it appears it looked at that way kind of year on year. And, you know, our in a year we expected to have significant negative or impact on our reserves, we ended up roughly equal. Is that a fair way to, not looking compared to projected actuals, but a year ago, what happened at the end of last year? I showed we were at 40,222 in available reserves at the end of the 23-24 year. So now we're at the end of the 24-25 year, and we're at 42,380,000. So it's a slight increase in dollars, about the same percentage because the total spending went up. Of course, you're not looking at what I'm looking at, so it's like, I'm not even looking at what you're.
I wasn't sure if that was a comment or a question.
Yeah, I guess it's a comment because I'm just looking at last year's data and pulled it up on my laptop.
So to recap then, for the non-math people in the room, the reserve percentage remains unchanged
Approximately 30%.
from last year to this year. The reserve percentage remains unchanged, correct?
About the same, yeah, about the same level.
Approximately is an important.
Like, okay, sorry.
They like
yeah.
exactly.
So I just want to, soundbite this, that it is approximately 30%, and it remained 30% from last year to this year.
That's how we, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
So I was noticing that our utilities, you said, increased by a lot.
Yes.
So are we gonna, I know we talked about solar or something, can we get an update, or do you have any, is that the direction we're moving so we can save some of that money?
Oh, my favorite LED lights.
Yes, that's actually part of the comprehensive energy savings plans that we're going to be bringing to the board, hopefully by next board meeting. We went through an RFP process. We conducted the interview. We're doing reference check right now. And so the next step would be to negotiate an agreement to be able to present to the board.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting. I mean, these, just in my life, the PG&E bills were a killer, and every organization, every business, every school is seeing that
Yeah.
as well. And yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that was one of my questions.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want
Please.
to make yes. So trustee,
Andrade.
I know.
You're gonna
call
look at her and say Horner.
No, I wanted to say just call you by your first name. Andrade said that the interest or the our percentage hasn't changed that much, and totally true. I just wanted to add in that one little thing because I want to be fair to everybody's comments. It didn't change because we added in our Fund 17, right?
No, Fund 17 was in last year's numbers as well, in that
Okay,
30%.
okay. I just wanted to try, make that clear. That would have been a misunderstanding on my part, right? I would have thought, okay, it didn't change because we transferred in that money.
And thank you for that comment. I think, transferring that balance from Fund 17 is going to hopefully eliminate some of this confusion where we're looking at two different funds, and it makes it a lot more work for our team. And then, having to build a multi-year projection, having to pull reserves from one fund and put it in another and take it back out. It's sometimes a little confusing.
So we're on page 4 of 12. Shall we carry on? No, Trustee
Just
Alba,
one
more
last
on this?
question. Is MA funding, is that unrestricted or does it become restricted?
My funding has always been unrestricted. So, yeah.
Okay.
Next slide. Thank you.
Okay, how about slide 5?
Okay, so this is the comparison for the restricted general fund at estimated actual versus unaudited actual. As you can see on the revenue section, not a lot of change, about $379,000 difference overall, looking at a $50 million budget in terms of revenue. So there's changes in a different place, but nothing significant. There were a 3.4 overall savings in total expenditures, and these are just funds that weren't unspent from grants and entitlements. And so whatever's not spent in last year's will get dropped into the restricted carryover amount, which we'll be showing in the next slide right here. So this is a comprehensive list of all the restricted balance that we still have coming into fiscal year 25-26 to be able to utilize. I won't go through all of it, but the biggest pot of money is the community schools, about 1.8 that we still have left district-wide to spend, and I believe that's either a 3-year grant that we still have time to utilize those funds. And then the other piece is art music, Prop 28. Those are the fund that districts gets on an annual basis that has to be provided or spent on supplemental programs related to arts and music. But I won't go through all of it, but that's there for your reference. Okay, so now that we've closed our books, we want to provide a couple scenarios in terms of the multi-year projection in the unrestricted general fund. And so please bear with me here. The first scenario factors in the unaudited actuals. It also includes the budget updates that we provided a couple of weeks ago on August 21st. Where we updated the new TK add-on rate and also the one-time grant money, which is Student Support Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant. And so with the unaudited actuals and last couple of weeks ago updates, you'll see the reserve, they're starting with this year or last year for fiscal year 24-25. At about 30.3, moving on to 25-26. The reserve levels at 21.7, and then in year 26-27, 15.04, and then in year 28, 8.62. The second scenario includes everything that was discussed in the previous slide, but also adds on the tentative agreement that the board just approved earlier tonight. So in essence, that would reduce the level of reserve because we've added into those expenditures. And so with that, since all the cost is going to be captured in 25-26, there's going to be no change in reserve level in 24-25. So that remains at 30.3. The projected reserve for 25-26 is 20.46, and then for 26-27, 13.52, and then in year 27-28, 6.78. This is the, yes.
Sorry?
I'll wait till you finish this page, sorry.
This is the multi-year, next page, please, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oop, you finished that page. If you're done with the page, then I will ask questions. So this has embedded in it, what, $7.5 million cuts in the next 3 years. I'm wondering, what would we need to cut to stay at 10% for the third year out?
In addition to what's presented here,
Yeah, since for the 27, 28 projected is a reserve of 6.7, 6.8, I'll round up by 200ths. What would we need to cut in order to have our reserves stay at 10%?
so to maintain a 10% reserve in year 27, 28, if we're using just ballpark numbers of $1 million per percentage, it'll be about a little over $3.2 million. And you can slice that up any way. You can do that either in the next fiscal year, 26, 27, and divvy that amount up in 2 separate years, or you can do it at 1 year, either in 26, 27 or 27, 28.
And do you see any benefit to making cuts sooner rather than putting them off?
I think we have to be methodical and really understand the impact to students. I think it's important to have a fiscally stable budget. We are fortunate that we have the reserve level that we have so that we don't have to make these haste decisions and be able to go through a methodical way in determining those reductions where it doesn't impact our students the most.
Except when we run out of the reserves, which it looks like it's the 4th year out. So that's my concern, is that, you know, in the long run, we started off with a ton of reserves. Obviously, you keep spending down your reserves. We're deficit spending over your almost 13 million is projected for this year. The following year will be deficit spending 10.5 million. At some point, it is going to reach an end. And I absolutely recognize it will have negative impacts on the students, but the more we can get ahead of it and control it, the better off for the students in the long run.
At what point in the calendar will you be coming to us with options for the 26, 27, and 27, 28 budget? I mean, I think tonight our main task is looking backwards.
Yes.
And we're getting a preview of what's coming. But perhaps you could share, you know, when we'll have the discussions pertinent to the salient points Trustee Altman is bringing up.
Yeah. So, I mean, immediately, you know, the administration is going to start working on a plan to identify certain reduction that, and also, you know, strategize other revenue increases strategies as well. So we need to consider both sides. And so the timeline is typically we would bring those recommendations either with the first interim report, which is presented in December, but also to align with some of our statutory timeline in terms of issuance of layoffs and stuff like that, which falls on March 15th. So we have that window between December and we don't want to push it into February because that's really pushing it to the end.
Right,
so
right.
it'll be around December or January is where we would be bringing a recommendation to the board for your consideration.
Thank you. Question? Trustee Marquez.
This is just a curiosity question. What is the goal percentage in the reserves? Is there one that's a standard that we have to keep or versus what we hope to have, what we want to have?
Yes, so the statutory requirement that has been prescribed by the state is 3%. So that's the minimum that the state requires every school district. Well, 3% for us. It varies on different sizes of school districts. So bigger school districts, they require low reserve because their budget is so huge. But for us, it's 3%. But the board here has a goal of 10% to maintain that level. And so that's the work that we're doing to strive to get there.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, comments? Seeing none, please continue.
Thank you. Okay, so this is the multi-year projection for the restricted general fund. And again, the revenue is actually pretty consistent from one year to another. It hovers around $40 million. Total expenditures also pretty consistent. It hovers around $43-44 million. And so by the end of year 27, 28, we're some of those grants that are 3 years long would be spent off. And so by then, we're projecting the carryover to be about a little below $4 million. So again, those are funds that we have to spend on specific purposes, and so we're following those guidelines. Next slide. Okay, thank you. You're good. And this is just a summary of all the other funds that the school districts operate, from adult ed, child development, cafeteria, deferred maintenance, special reserve, which we talked about. Want to show you there because that's zeroed out for going forward. And then our post-employment benefit building fund, which is a bonds funds. Our capital facility, this is developer fee funds, which, as you can see there, we have a pretty healthy reserve level. We've been able to spend some of those funds in the prior year and also in the current year as well, mainly to support our TK programs, because they are a new addition to our districts. And so we've been able to invest in some furnitures, some startup materials. And so, these are the kiddos that needs it the most right now. They're very young. So we're pleased that we're able to spend some of that money down right now. And then our Melrose Fund and bonds interest and retention, that's the fund where the county controls, where they collect all the money to pay off our bonds obligation.
Just on this, I'll make my annual comment on Fund 25. Let's find a way to put this money to use, providing facilities for kids. It just keeps going up every year. Yes. And I realize there's restrictions on it, but please use everything legally and morally available to us to put these funds to use on behalf of our students. I'm sure there are things we can do. Maybe we have to disappear some portables for 2 years, and then we can build new classrooms. I don't know. Figure something. There are many needs on many sites to put these funds to use that will better serve students and the community. It's a weird thing in state law. The developer fees used for expansion, so I don't want to belabor it. But so I know it's not it has restrictions, but at least once a year I say, please find a way to put this money to use.
Yeah, and I was just mentioning to you, President Horner, that this kind of marks my 1-year anniversary, and Doris's as well. And so as we better understand the district and the need of the districts, we can apply some of these funds to those needs as appropriate. So. Next slide.
We should have had cupcakes.
Next step. So tonight we're going to be asking the board to approve the unaudited actuals. Assuming it happens, we'll send that to the county office. And then the next major update, again, I mentioned it, first interim is going to be presented in December. And then our auditors are already in our districts looking at our document. And so they should be done around December-ish, and we'll be presenting the audit report no later than January 2026. With that, I'll be...
Thank you. Any other further questions or comments? Trustee Altman?
This is on the SACS report on the second page. There's no assigned funds, and I'm just kind of curious if it's 2D assigned and everything zeroed out across there. And I was just surprised about this since we're carrying money over from LCAP and such that nothing has already been earmarked for anything. It's not typically zero, I don't think.
Are you looking at the unrestricted column?
Yeah, unrestricted.
Restricted or unrestricted?
Unrestricted, it's the second page of the unrestricted, when you get into the page numbers.
So typically on the unrestricted side, there's usually not a lot of assignment or any of all. all the assignment usually occurs in the restricted side where you have restricted carryovers. And fund
Okay,
balances.
so I'm just a little befuddled then because saving money, are we allowed to save and just carry over LCAP money, I guess?
That's a great question. So the requirement in terms of the LCAP is that every district needs to spend or to meet their MPP requirement, which is the minimal proportionality percentage. And so when we do our LCFF calculation, we actually know what our total LCFF amount is. And based on our unduplicated count, it tells you what that MPP requirement is. Our districts, it's about $7 million that we have to spend towards to the LCAP. What we've been able to do successfully is that we've been able to demonstrate qualitatively that we're doing other things that adds on to that $7 million. And so when we don't spend that whole $7 million, the qualitative requirement kicks in to be able to meet that requirement. As long as you meet that requirement, there's no requirement that you have to assign that money going forward. That'll be a local decision to be made.
Could you give me an example of I think of qualitative as not having a number attached, and I think of finances as having money attached. So what would be a qualitative add-on?
God, I might need some help from my colleague. I know.
A qualitative add-on could be the percentage of time that it takes, for example, part of our ESD group to do analysis and data. You know, you could hire someone to do analysis and data, or each of us in that department could take a chunk of that work and do that work internally, which counts toward some of the requirements that we have to do in the LCAP.
So it's kind of like you're doing work worth money that's...
That we're double dipping, right? We're doing other things, but we're also adding to the work that has to be done that we are specifying in the LCAP.
Okay, so then the LCAP money can just build up. That's not
To some, I was going to say, to some degree, yes.
It seems like the LCFF would get adjusted then, which would concern me.
No, the LCs, that remains the same.
Hey, let's not tell the state we have extra money.
No.
Anyone else? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve this item? Thank you, Vice President Andrade. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you. Sarah? Let's say Northrop Gaddis. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired, yes. Okay. I'm sorry?
It's not even 8:30 yet.
I'm still getting over last week's cold. I'll blame the cold I had last week. That was a bear. Okay, student board member. I thank other trustees. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? All right, that passes unanimously. We're on to item L. Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Chang. We'll see you next time. New business, any future agenda item requests?
I have one. I would like to inquire about a community service graduation requirement. And the reason being is that Morgan Hill Unified is the only district, well, not the only, East Side Union, but our neighbors, Gilroy Unified, they have an 80-hour community service requirement to graduate. San Jose Unified has a 40-hour community service graduation rate. Valley Christian, which a lot of Morgan Hill students attend, they have a 25-hour community service. Bellarmine, 30, Oakwood, 20. And so I think as we talk about being a community service is really important. And I want to specify when I bring this up that it's not community service that is tied to a classroom. So I know right now civics has a community service graduation requirement where they attend meetings and whatnot. This is something else. This is going into the community. So I would like to provide some inquire about that, if staff can look into that.
Is this something where you need a direction from a majority of the board to look into, or?
No, I think this is something that I can take to the ESD team, and I would love to include alternate student board member Latin and also student board member Paredes Hasso. If we could put our heads together and seek input, make it a collaborative effort, that's something that we can absolutely do. We can let us do some homework and some research, and then we'll, at a future meeting, I could provide some next steps.
This was in the LCAP.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Altman?
This was in the LCAP back in the day. Actually, Laura Scotto and I were on the committee that talked about different ways to show success. I don't remember exactly what it was called. And we had we had started the framework for community service. I probably still have the information that we came up. We had a framework from kindergarten at the time through high school and how it changed as the students got older.
Maybe if you can find that archive, you can share it with staff and they can.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Maybe keep some reproducing some work that was done some time ago, well before my time. Trustee Munson, were you waving your hand there?
Okay, I had a couple things. Just wanted to get an update on the interdistrict transfer for employees, if we've gotten that information back from the lawyer. Or...
I know that it's going to be re-agendized at our policy subcommittee. We have not received the information from our lawyer. I can certainly nudge her and get the information, but it will be re-agendized at our next, yes.
Yeah, I was just inquiring if we had.
Oh, yeah, we're still in process, yes.
Okay. And then one more, just thinking about the how we can increase our revenue and the law changed for recovery, independent study recovery, right? When students are out, before they have to be out like 5 days before we could send home independent studies. Now they can miss 1 day to 15 days. And so I just wanted to inquire, like, are we going to implement that? Is there going to be training? Because we can recover a lot of money. 1% of our increased attendance is like $1 million.
$1 million, yeah. So that's so the student services team oversees independent study, short-term independent study, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that is something that that's one of many things that we're looking at with respect to increasing revenue, and that includes the Saturday academies. But also what's new in the law is that we can recover a DA during the week. We don't have to wait for a Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
and
about.
So that's for independent study, but this is like if they're missing attendance. So all of those students that are in Amplify, we're able to recover, and they're in
Got
Amplify
it.
before and after school. So we can recover that, and we can do so now in 15-minute intervals.
Got it. Okay.
So we're doing a lot to make
Okay.
sure, because absolutely that's a focus. You heard earlier from Principal Bookser. I mean, obviously we have this September attendance and awareness, but this is an effort that we're going to be focusing on every single month.
Okay, yeah.
What might be an appropriate time then for you to provide a report? Is that in your update? Is it at a study session?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
it's a huge topic that.
It sounds like everybody's
We're on it.
So
Yeah,
just
we're
an
on it.
update,
I can send it into my weekly update.
Can I add, just
Please.
so it's not a discussion, just, there is work at the YMCA and they are taking attendance. And the only reason why I know is because somebody came to my house and used a printer to print said attendance sheets and was complaining about this new, this new duty. But I was stressing that they are collecting attendance, and there's only, my understanding is one staff member is allowed to do it for, I don't know, but they are collecting attendance.
We're on it, and we're thinking incredibly creatively. So I can provide an update to the board during the weekly update,
Yeah,
and
I
I can continue to update you as we go along.
And I think it just implementation and training, just like, I'm not implementation, but training.
Oh,
training,
absolutely.
training, is so important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've already
And-
done 3 independent studies myself.
Yeah.
So I just think it's so important.
We have an expert.
If I'm just saying, it's important, and I think we can recover a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Very good. Anyone else? And then I don't know, I'm off my board management game here tonight. I skipped board reports earlier on. Is there anything anyone would like to report? My apologies for that. I'll just say I went to a bunch of back-to-school nights and it was amazing.
Just a quick shout out.
Yeah.
Okay. I attended 2 back-to-school nights just because it was, like a star on a map going everywhere. Live Oak High School, the Live Oak High School. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to an English teacher there, Mr. Nguyen. And while I was in his classroom, I was reminded of how good it was just a feeling in that classroom, and I just loved being in there and the approach to student learning in that classroom. I also attended Paradise back to school night, and I got to see Mr. Garcia in action, but also I was kind of wondering like how this is going to work because it was on a Friday night. And so I thought it was really interesting take. So as I was walking back to the car, I saw a group of parents and I was like, hey, can I just pick your brain a little bit? What do you think about this Friday night? And one of the parents was like, this is awesome. We got a sitter, so we're all going out downtown. And so I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of works. What a great, way to have it at the end of the week. It's done. And then people can have the weekend to rest or participate in sports or whatever. So it was really nice to see. Yeah.
Anyone else? I'll share quickly with my work with the County School Board Association. I went to in Milpitas. They had a gathering, an annual gathering of their people working on Hope for the Homeless, and it's coordination between schools, a nonprofit, the city, and that whole area. Throughout our region, the needs of homeless children, whether McKinney-Vento or the severe homeless category, is a huge need. Also earlier today, maybe that's part of why I'm tired, it's been a long day, toured 2 facilities in San Jose. One's 97 units at Embassy Suites Hotel that have been repurposed for supportive housing, particularly for families. Most of the homeless shelter type housing is not for families, so there's only 2 in San Jose, one up and it's weird, you go there, it's like you get the address and you're just at a hotel, but then you go in and they're resource rooms, they're doing a lot of work with students. And then another that's kind of a modular buildings, kind of like dorm rooms, there's units with a bed and a private bathroom and then common kitchens and whatnot, and other resource and support service also for families. So very, very important. But, one of the many problems is that there's, that's up near Capitol Expressway, and that's as far south as any resource like that is. And under McKinney-Vento, whatever of the 31 school districts a student, may have started in, every school district is obliged to somehow get them to school. But when they do find these rare housing, they have people who are going to school in Gilroy and living on First Street in downtown San Jose. So the transportation, the logistics, and really the problem comes down to there's just not enough of this capacity. So if you have somebody who's been living in their car, living in a tent, and somebody says, hey, I know you're normally a Gilroy resident, you lost your apartment, would you like a place on First Street? Well, it beats living in the car. But so it's just the coordination between the various parts of our systems isn't there. And, under McKinney-Vento, we're just obliged to get them to school. So like, you're obliged to get them to school. It's like, could you put them 40 miles away? So, but not to, I don't want in any way say not appreciate that at least there's something for some people, and it's an ongoing effort to provide more. So our association also, a few months from now, is going to convene a gathering, again, bringing together countywide school board members, staff, city staff, nonprofits, probably a half-day sort of thing, to continue these conversations about how do we not just think about our silos and our job, but how do we coordinate to the best degree possible. So, more to come on that later. Thank you. Okay, any other board reports? And I also forgot to mention there's a calendar, it's published, please look at it. Okay, now go to the end of the agenda, and if there's nothing else I've missed, this meeting is adjourned at 8:28, and thank you for your generous treatment of my errors.